Hey guys, what's going on? Jebb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto. We go live 9:30 Eastern every single weekday, bringing you the #1 channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis, on-chain analysis, and fundamental analysis. And today, we are going to be covering Bitcoin and several of the Metaverse projects like Gala and Sand. And we're also going to be talking at length about the Super Bowl because 117 million people are about to see several different cryptocurrency ads on Sunday. And that is a massive deal for brand awareness because we're going to be seeing the likes of a Crypto.com and an FTX and a Coinbase running ads in front of over 100 million people. But it's not just the Super Bowl that's going to be bringing massive brand awareness to Bitcoin. We have names like Gucci, McDonald's, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, and Drake stepping into the cryptocurrency space. Drake is actually doing a $1.3 million bet on who's going to win the Super Bowl. So there are all kinds of massive pieces of exposure going on in cryptocurrency right now. We're going to share all of it with you. And we're also going to tie in how all of this cryptocurrency exposure could help to lead to a major rally on Bitcoin over the next 3 to 6 months. Because if you'll remember, we've talked about this whole supply and demand idea. The demand of Bitcoin is relatively low right now because the retail is not very interested. The supply, however, is actually very low as well because so much of Bitcoin is currently sitting in illiquid supply being held long-term by hodlers and by whales. All we need is just a little bit of demand to push Bitcoin back up above 52,000, and then it's off to the races, and we could see an all-time high run very, very quickly. We have a lot to cover in today's show, and I cannot wait to dive on into it. Before we do, though, smash that like button. Let's get to 250 likes here in just the next couple of minutes. Today's show is brought to you by our very own Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Over the last 4 years, it has been teaching thousands of students how to do technical analysis. You're going to see us do technical analysis in this stream, and every single thing that I do in this stream, you can learn how to do as well at CT2A. You can find the link in the description box down below. I am joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host, filling in for Tim, Kelly. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm doing so good. There's just so many, it seems like the market's choppy, but at the end of the day, there's been just a never-ending, I don't want to say onslaught, but continuous pressure with the expansion of the crypto market, new eyes there's so many, not only news stories, but adoption going on the institutional level. We're going to be diving into those. And we do have something very special today. Today is the day that we we had our price predictions on Tuesday. So let's go ahead and go over those real quick. We got Jebb at the highest at 45,000. Myself, Kelly, at 42,850. Smay said 41,420, and Tim was at 40,525. Now we're going to be. This is going to go down to the wire like it did. Was it last week or the week before? I think it was last week. We're going to be. This is all determined based on exactly what the price is at, right at 10:45. And so the split there is between Jebb and myself, 43,925. So that could come close. If the price drops a bit, then it would be a split between Kelly and Smay of at 42,135. And the split between Smay and Tim is 40,972. But we got a lot to get into today. So without much further ado, let's get into the show, and let's welcome our compatriot over here on the right, Mr. Smay.
Smay, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great, and I would like to first be able to share my great feelings with our audience by saying their beautiful names, wonderful names. Tom Wilkes, JoJo. I have no idea how to say that. A1R Crypto 420. There we go. Adam Rourke, Crypto Couple, Crypto Alchemist, Grand Roofing Incorporated. Ricardo Venegas. Here's who else we got. We got Dennis Pice, Zarka. Oh, who else? Oh, Cryptosaurus Rex, Matt C. Oh, guys, you guys are the best.
Speaking of,
hold on.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Smay. Gosh,
guys, I have something to say.
Yelling at me.
I have something to say, and then I'm gonna let Jebb say. But I would like to say this, guys. I've just finished reading, and this is what I want to provide to you guys because I love you guys. I was just reading a book called The Hiding Place, and I just finished it this past weekend. It's about Corrie ten Boom, and look her up if you don't know who she is, but she's a wonderful woman. And so I want to just say this, guys. It really made me think about something. Be thankful for the difficult times, guys, because you never know how that's going to grow you or what that's going to do and establish things in your life. So, guys, especially applying this to crypto, be thankful for the times that your portfolio is red because, guys, you get an opportunity to be able to buy and be able to set yourself up for a better future. But that, again, that applies to so many things in life. So if you're going through a really hard time right now, guys, just be thankful for it and know that this is going to grow you and make you a stronger person because of it.
Hey, man, the lower we are, the more awesome the highs are. You know, has anybody here ever been to Denver? Kelly, I'm sure you've been to Denver.
I've definitely been to the Mile High City.
You know what? It's a mile high. The elevation's 5,000 or so feet, but it's all flat. And if you're in Denver and you look around, it doesn't look like you're a mile high. It just looks like you're, at ground level. But you don't realize you're a mile above sea level because there's no reference point. The ocean isn't right next to you, so you don't realize you're a mile high. And that's what happens to a lot of us in cryptocurrency is we get a mile high, but it's been a mile high for the last 2 years, so we don't realize just how lucky we are. That's something I battle with because I'm 21 running a company with 16 employees, and we have this channel, and it's amazing, and I have all these blessings, and sometimes I'm like, oh no, this one thing isn't going that great, and then I worry about it, but you just got to keep that perspective. So I want to give some shout outs here really quickly. Thank you guys so much for that, and thank you so much for that, Smay. Got a bunch of CT2A alumni in chat I want to shout out. Ricardo Venegas said, CT2A is the best, check it out, guys. And then we had Crypto Alchemist say, CT2A for the win. Dennis Pizarca says, CT2A is the best. Then we also had Grand Roofing Incorporated said, yes, CT2A is definitely good. I've already made some really good profitable trades since completing it. So guys, make sure to check out the Academy. The link is in the description box down below, but we're going to go ahead and throw it to Smay, and then we're going to jump into market polls.
Guys, speaking of difficult times, I need to apologize to you guys. We did not do the members stream on Thursday, the members only stream.
Oof.
Oof, indeed. So, guys, to make it up for you guys, we are going to do 2 streams next week. I'm going to make up for you guys. We're going to do 2 streams. All right.
And just so everybody knows, we are obviously on the channel every day, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to about 10:45ish. And this is by far the most satisfying part of what we do because we get to bring you we try to share as much knowledge and value we can with all of you. But as soon as the stream goes off, we're not off riding a boat somewhere, hanging out, having beers with each other. We are working all. I'm talking. We
drink wine.
There's Zima. No, but there's just so much that we have going on behind the scenes. We have you don't even understand how much we have that we've been working on that we can't wait to share with you once we get it all finished and polished up.
Coming soon. Coming soon. We have things coming soon. I cannot wait to share it all with you.
We're gonna do member streams, guys. We're gonna make up for it.
Good deal, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump into our market polls. Take a look over here on my screen on CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin down 0.59% in the last 24 hours. That is as a result of Bitcoin really hitting some of this resistance hard. If we take a look here, we can see that Bitcoin rallied to a local high at $46,000 yesterday. Actually surpassed my price prediction of $45K. It's had a little bit of a correction here, though, but it's nothing to worry about. We have an uptrending level of support right there that we are currently maintaining, and we're slowly bouncing off of. So don't get worried about us being down 0.59% on Bitcoin. It's nothing to write home about just yet. Ethereum's down almost 1%, but Bitcoin and ETH still up double digits over the last 7 days. Binance Coin down 0.33%. Really interesting because some of the news we're going to be covering is that Binance, which is worth billions and billions of dollars, just invested $200 million in Forbes. They're going to have 2 out of 9 board seats at Forbes. That's going to be a big deal for exposure for that brand. So that's a big deal for the coin as well. Plus 10% in the last 7 days. XRP up 34% in 7 days, down 4% on the day. ADA sitting at $1.16, up 10% in the last 7 days. Avalanche up 30%. Solana up 3%. Take a look at this, guys. Make sure you're getting your perspective in. Make sure you come to realize that yes, there are cryptocurrencies that are down a little bit today, but over the last 7 days, they're very bullish. And then you can zoom out and say, oh, but they're down on the month. And then you zoom out more and you say, oh, but they're up on the year. And then you zoom out and then you realize that it's up and to the right all the way back in history. Elrond is up 20% over the last 24 hours. IoTEX is sitting up 15% right now. Audius up 11%. This is a really interesting project sitting in the top 100. I'll let you guys go and research this. This has to do with music rights. Very interesting project right there. Definitely one to look into if you're looking for some of these other applications of blockchain that are non-traditional, such as like not being a layer 1, not doing NFTs, but the other things that fractionalized ownership on a blockchain can provide. Really interesting project. LivePeer up 7%. That's an old cryptocurrency. Let's look at the biggest losers. We got Tron down. Frankly, I am surprised that Tron is still in the top 25. I'm surprised it's still in the top 100. I remember back when it was a big deal back in 2017, 2018. It really hasn't made a lot of waves. I'm sorry, I had to do it. It's just the way I roll, guys, because Waves is down 3% in the last 24 hours. Nexo down 5%. Overall, the cryptocurrency market has a lot of volatility in it right now, but in general, things are sitting pretty peachy. But what we're going to go ahead and do now is throw it to Kelly so that we can review some headlines, because we got some pretty big stories to let you know about. Kelly, take it away.
Absolutely. Oh, I take it back. Take it back. Not absolutely, but most distinctly.
Most distinctly, okay.
So we covered this the other day, but I just wanted to, we're going to go over a bunch of the headlines, and really what we want to do today is go a lot more discussion and talk about what these headlines mean. So we brought this up the other day. Apple, of course, they're moving to release their tap to pay, which is incredibly powerful in the sense that I didn't know this. Over 90% of U.S. retailers accept Apple Pay, which is absolutely massive. And the number of Apple iPhones that are available, that are out there, and what are my words today? Take a breath, Kelly. I don't need to speak as fast as Jebb. So, Apple is releasing tap to pay. Also, Samsung is they just unveiled the S22, the Galaxy S22, and that's it, involving a lot of improvements on their wallet systems and stuff like that, so they can not only store digital IDs, credit cards, but also various different cryptocurrencies. And there is some speculation about whether or not Apple's going to be adding wallet functions to their to Apple Pay in their wallet systems on iPhones. So they're competing for a bit of supremacy with, they're getting their footing to really step into that cryptocurrency space, which is, between those two phones alone, just in the Western world, is massive exposure in terms of you have to have the ability to access these sort of things before you can push them out. So it's really nice to see that this is starting to roll out. Now, in other news, sometimes it got to be Gucci, right? So Gucci stepping into the metaverse. They made a massive. I don't think they don't think they've been able to determine how large the purchase was in terms of land space within the metaverse, but they're going to be moving into the metaverse. McDonald's, of all things, now, whether or not you like McDonald's or not, or any sort of companies or institutions we even bring up in headlines, at the flip side of that is, regardless of what our personal desires are around these institutions or these companies or even people, the fact that like a company like a global company like McDonald's, which is so well known and has basically footing in essentially every country in the world, is massive, that they're stepping into the metaverse. That's followed by, this is a little bit more relevant in terms of the metaverse gaming, PUBG, which is a player unknown battleground, a massive user base, and they're moving into the metaverse, NFTs, and all these sorts of things that are tied in with the crypto space. And so when we're getting these various institutions that are stepping into the metaverse, we're going to dive into why that's relevant right now. And I'm just curious, Jebb, what are your thoughts when we have companies like Gucci, McDonald's, various different major celebrity, whether they're celebrities for being financial magnates or just being a celebrity like Drake, who's going to be, putting a $1.3 million bet in Bitcoin on the Super Bowl. How do you feel like this is relevant to Bitcoin? Why do these metaverse projects, or even NFTs, why is this so powerful in terms of looking forward to mass adoption?
Well, the reason it's so powerful is because, so anybody who's ever done marketing knows that there's a funnel of getting somebody to buy. And if we're looking at the funnel to buy Bitcoin, it's the exact same funnel as it is to get somebody to buy CT2A or any kind of product, a watch or a car. There's a funnel, and every single funnel starts with something called an impression. If you run a YouTube channel like we do, then you know what your impression data is. We get about 20 million impressions every single month on YouTube. We get about 2 or 3 million on Twitter. Those impressions are just people that are scrolling through and they see you. So you're scrolling through YouTube, and maybe this is the first time you're seeing this stream, and you just saw this stream on YouTube in the recommended, and you get that impression. That impression is the beginning of every single funnel. After the impression comes the click. After the click comes the looking around on the sales page, or in this case, watching the stream, and then there's the purchase. So that's what we're looking at right now at the Super Bowl. The bigger you cast your net and the more impressions you get, the more people have the ability to go and buy your product, because they can't buy the product if they don't know it exists. And that's what FTX and Coinbase and Crypto.com and some of these other companies they're running ads at the Super Bowl are doing. They're casting their net wide and they're getting a lot of impressions so they can get the masses into it. So it's a really big deal for that reason. But it's also a really big deal because I have witnessed a transition happen over the last 2 years and change, where it used to be a big deal when a company would adopt crypto because it was big for crypto. now, and we talked about this about 8 months ago when AMC, the movie theater chain, started to adopt Bitcoin and crypto and Litecoin and all this different stuff. We talked about how actually this is not that big of a deal for crypto anymore because crypto is big enough that it can do just fine without a movie theater adopting it. It actually is a big deal for the company. And that's what we're seeing right now with Gucci and McDonald's and PUBG and, I almost said Kanye, Drake, excuse me, I'm going to get a flack for that in the comment section. That's what we're seeing happen. All of those names adopting Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, yeah, it's great for crypto, but it's actually better for them. And the reason that that's so important is because it means that crypto has the leverage now. You see that? We don't need Drake. We don't need PUBG. We don't need Gucci or McDonald's. Frankly, we don't need the Super Bowl. But guess what? We're glad it's here. But the Super Bowl wants crypto because they're going to make the money. Drake wants crypto because it's going to make him money. Gucci and McDonald's and PUBG want crypto because it's going to make them money. We have all the cards now. The cards are in our hands. We have the leverage. So yeah, it's a great big thing for crypto, but it's actually just as big, if not a bigger thing for these different names that are getting into crypto. So that change just goes to show you how the leverage has moved in our direction.
I'd like to say about that though, to just sort of calm everybody's nerves. The fact that we're having all these Super Bowl ads, we as if it's our company.
Yeah, we're running a
right?
Super Bowl ad. You know that now.
No, just like because we're having these Super Bowl ads and we're having these major institutions coming into the metaverse. This doesn't mean these news stories don't mean if the market doesn't go up tomorrow, this wasn't relevant. And in addition to that, don't plan on just buying into a project or a coin because you're thinking it's going to pump because of the Super Bowl or because of any of these institutions coming in, these headlines. This short-term narrative about what's going to happen probably is going to be a little disheartening for some people looking at this with pure hopium. But what we're looking at here, really, especially with Bitcoin and all the various cryptocurrencies that we're all speculating on and basically using them as venture capital for the more micro caps, right? Well, at the end of the day, we're looking at long-term plays. It's going to take time for all the, let's say 150 million people or 300 million people in the next week hear about cryptocurrency for the first time, because not everybody has fully heard about it yet. Well, for any product or anything, when you learn, like especially in marketing, every sale typically takes anywhere from 7 to 15 touches before somebody even gets acclimated to it, before they even consider buying it. So this is a long-term play where we're starting to plant as many seeds as we can, and we're going to let that forest grow. And we can talk about harvesting it in several moons. But if you're not in now, there's no point trying to buy in at the top of the treetop when you could have been down here where you have your roots in the ground.
Speaking of harvesting, if Bitcoin stays where it is right now, oh, it just went down. Oh, it's back up. Oh, it's down. Oh, it's back up. Okay, if Bitcoin stays where it's at right now, oh, never mind. I'm joking. Of course, it's not moving that much. Then I will be harvesting that Huddle trophy from your desk here in about an hour. So we shall see. It's going to be a close race, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, by the way. Let's go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get up to 600 likes here in the next couple of minutes. Absolutely love what Kelly just said. Kelly, are there any final headlines over there that we need to look at before we jump into our first community check-in?
No, that's pretty much it. We nailed it all. But I am curious what Smay thinks about how all this sort of.
Did we talk about Binance? I'm sorry, I was reading the chat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's more of a headline. Yeah, Binance, they basically put in, there was a big sale that was supposed to happen. Forbes was trying to sell off. They're
trying to go public.
Go public in August. And then that sort of fell through, and Binance swooped into the last moment, and they did a $200 million investment. But the thing about Forbes is, whether or not it's relevant or you like the magazine or not, it's another one of those touch points. They have over 150 million, I don't know if it's necessarily readers, but they basically get exposed to over 150 million people a year through their events and through all their content. And the fact that Binance is going to now not only have a major stake in the company, I think one of the top two ownership stakes, they also have the 2 board seats. But so I don't want to say that they can control the narrative, but they can definitely influence what sort of.
But they can control the narrative.
Right. It's just another touch point, and it's all these dominoes are still stacked. And I'm just excited to watch as you know that all sort of slowly matriculates into the mass populace psychology and understanding. You know, it's very, very soon in the next 2 or 3 years, I really think we're going to stop having our uncles and aunts and neighbors telling us we're silly for being involved in crypto. You know, those few that are still holding on to that negative narrative.
Did you say matriculate?
Yeah, it was.
Is that a word? That's an awesome word. I need that word in my life. By the way, guys, here's just a fun fact I was reading. $6.5 million per 30-second commercial at the Super Bowl. So these are not small commercials. Frankly, I'm surprised they're not more expensive than that. But let's go ahead and jump into our super chats. We got a couple of them here, and then we're going to jump straight into some Bitcoin technical analysis. Sauce. Yeah, do we have any super chats, or do you have them recorded over there? Or should I look at them?
I was actually going through trying to see super chat, so I wasn't listening to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have them all.
Okay,
right
cool.
here.
Let's do it.
So, let's see. The first, I wanted to welcome Samuel Bryan.
Yeah,
he's a new Jebbi youngling. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you to our members,
our humble little community, our weird family here. Ryan Neese. Donated, said inverse head and shoulders starting to take shape. We'll definitely be diving in to pull that up here in a minute or two when we're doing TA. Elliot Locke, longtime member and wonderful regular here on the show. Curious, watched a live stream from Wendy O. Shout out to Wendy O. We love her. On Gala Music. Don't hear much about it. How is that affecting the coin price? Well, I know Snoop Dogg. I don't know if he's the only partner, but he's one of the people that partnered with the Gala Music Project. So I'm sure it's another one of these, celebrity, large name exposure elements. So all these things are good. I'm sure that I haven't looked directly into the current price action, which I think we might be diving into at the end of the show. But anytime we have any news story or headline in growth on a project, it definitely it will have some effect on what's going on with the price. Tom Wilkes.
Hey, Tom. Tom and I met at the conference, and he was for all of our members who were at the members-only stream, we told you members at the members-only stream to walk up to Shannon at the conference and say, Shannon, you need a new phone. And I'd met Tom Wilkes at the North American Bitcoin Conference earlier last month, and he did it. He did it, and I laughed so hard. Shout out to you, Tom Wilkes. That was hilarious.
He's got a great thing that he shared here. It said, if it weren't for the rainy days, we wouldn't appreciate the sunny days as much. My all-time favorite piece of life advice. And that's so true. And it's just keep your head up. Even if some of you that might be down right now from the price action, just keep digging in. Believe me, I've told the story on here before. Years ago, I lost basically the first $70,000 I ever had in a very poorly positioned leverage trade. And I almost got off the horse, but you know what? I said, I'm not going to give up because I made a stupid decision. I'm just going to make smarter decisions now. And since then, I have far more in a way climbed out from that hole and, have surpassed it quite significantly. So I want to give you all encouragement to stay on the horse if you're having trouble right now. Just invest in yourself, learn. Another one from Crypto Vantage. Pumped to see the Super Bowl crypto ads. We are too. Those are going to be great. And the last one is from Crit Cats. Happy Friday, guys. Thanks for all the great info. The best on YouTube.
Aww.
Also, Kelly kind of sounds like TJ Miller from Office Christmas Party.
That's funny.
I've actually had a few people tell me I sound like TJ Miller. So
that's pretty funny. Well, let's go ahead and jump straight on into some Bitcoin technical analysis here, guys. Like I said earlier, sitting on the edge of our seats, coming down to the wire, who's going to win this, Kelly or myself? What do you say the level was that's the deciding factor? 43.9, I think you said?
Yeah, the line in the sand is 43,925.
Oh my gosh.
It's just dancing.
Gotta have
you know what?
25,
how about this? I'm glad that we're doing it now at the end of the show rather than the beginning because I feel like we're doing like a crypto horse race throughout the entire show.
I know. Yeah. It's perfect. And Bitcoin, it's coming down to the wire. Take a look at my chart right here, guys. This level I just drew, 43,925. We're currently at 43,845. So we're $80 away from that level on Bitcoin. But let's go ahead and do some TA. We're going to briefly run over some of the historical analysis that we've talked about. I'm going to just briefly update you on some of the things I wanted to show you. First and foremost, guys, as the super chat said, we are looking at a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern forming down here on the 4-hourly chart. We talked about this, a week and a half ago, how there's a left shoulder right here, there's a head right here, and then depending on what Bitcoin does over here, we could form a right shoulder. If we were to come down into the mid 40s or down to between 40 and 42,000, then that would definitely be a right shoulder. We're not totally sure it's going to look like that just yet, but that's probably what it's going to end up becoming. And if we were to extrapolate that price target out, that gives us nearly a $60,000 Bitcoin, which would be phenomenal. I do think that that's what we're going to see happen, to be totally honest. Looking out here on the daily chart, though, we can see that we are starting to fall over just a little bit. We saw the first red candlestick that we had seen in a while, as well as a very long upper shadow pushing into this resistance zone between 45,250 and 46,000 and change. So these are the levels that we are looking at right now. I'm just going to go ahead and clean up my chart a little bit here so that you guys can see a little bit better. These zones are what we're looking at right now to give us support, and I do think that we're going to end up breaking to the upside out of this. Let's go ahead and run through my 4 criteria for saying we're going back into a rally. I said we need to confidently, not just do these things, but I said we need to confidently do these 4 things. Number 1, I want to see 7 to 10 days of bullishness following a buy signal on Lux Algo. We're currently 7 days in. That's great. I'm going to extend it all the way out to 10 because when I say confidently, a little drop like this does not look confident to me. What we're also looking for is Bitcoin being above $42,000 for 7 to 10 days. That's the other thing that I said I want to see Bitcoin do. We've been above it for 5 days, so we're getting there. I also said on the 3 daily chart that I want to see Bitcoin have a bullish MACD cross and maintain it for 7 to 10 days. It's currently been bullish for about 5 or 6. Then I also said I want to see bullish RSI above the 14 interval moving average on the 3 daily chart for 7 to 10 days. It's currently at 9, so that's great. I also threw another one in there, but this is not required for me to say we're in an uptrend. That would be a buy signal coming in on the 3 daily chart Lux Algo. We do have a green trend catcher right now, and we do have green Lux oscillator down here. The only thing that we need now is a buy signal. To get that buy signal, we're probably going to need to see Bitcoin push to at least $47,000 and change. Now, one of the other things I want to look at here is the longer term volume. You can see the volume is relatively stagnant right now, but we did have quite a bit of volume come in right here. In the same way we had a lot of volume come in right here when we initially hit the bottom. So that might be what we're looking at right now. Perhaps we came down and set our absolute low right here. We might have another drop down to the mid 30s, but at the end of the day, we could see that $33,000 would be that local low. Looking out to the weekly chart, I also want to point out the fact that there is quite significant bullish MACD and RSI divergence here. You can see that there's a downtrend forming on the MACD and on the RSI as far as their lows, and then there's an uptrend forming on the price action up there. Absolutely phenomenal. I love that. A couple of things to look at out here on the weekly chart that I haven't shown you yet either is the fact that we are potentially looking at the RSI crossing up into the 50 territory, which would get us above this moving average on RSI. That would be phenomenal, massive bullish signal, and we're also looking at a bullish MACD cross coming in the next couple of weeks. If that were to occur, that would be amazing, and I'll tell you why. If we look here at MACD historically, on the weekly chart, whenever you see a bullish MACD cross on weekly, that almost always lines up with a pretty major rally on Bitcoin. I will show you some of these examples back here. There is one fluke in here, but that had to do with the thing that shall not be named on YouTube. We saw that there was a bullish MACD cross on the weekly chart right here. Boom, we went into a rally. We saw that there was one right here. Went into a rally. Oh, nope, never mind. Right there, we saw that the flu, the 2022 flu happened, and we saw that Bitcoin dropped off the face of the planet for a little while. That is not the fault of technical analysis. If it weren't for what happened in March, January, February, and March of 2020, we probably would have kicked off a rally to go back to all-time high right here. So I don't invalidate this MACD. This was a fundamental story that caused this. But a little while later, we saw a bullish MACD cross, and that did lead us to the upside. And then we also saw a bullish MACD cross right here, which literally the week next, we saw Bitcoin would go into a rally of 500%. Right over here, we saw a bullish MACD cross that would lead to a 60% rally. So bullish MACD crosses on the weekly chart, pretty big deal, just doing our historical analysis and looking at something called the historicity of a trend. So we see what it has done in the past. If we have that bullish MACD cross on weekly chart, that's going to be absolutely phenomenal. So Kelly, I want your take on what Bitcoin is doing right now. You know, we've talked a lot about the confirmations to go up to 52,000. We've talked a lot about the zones of support and resistance above us and below us. How do you see the next 7 to 10 days playing out if we do go through with that bullish movement up towards 52,000? And what role do you think the Super Bowl will play in that?
Well, first things first. I want to shout out. I mentioned it yesterday as well. Tim actually outlined something that was really incredible, looking at the MACD divergences on identifying where true market reversals were in the trend changes back to the upside. And every single time in the history of Bitcoin, other than the flu that we had in March of 2020, every other time that we had the bottom of the market and come up, there was a bullish RSI divergence that basically gave the support to have that upward movement. And we don't have that right now. In fact, we have actually a bit of bearish RSI divergence on the 4-hour that basically is holding us a little bit hostage right now. I do think we very likely could push up, and we had an incredible Twitter Spaces last night with all the different analysts on the panel agreed. They're all thinking that there's still something to the downside in the cards. Downside doesn't mean all the way, breaking 29, although that could happen. But I think if we do get up to 52, we'll probably get a fairly strong rejection and take the liquidity from probably quite a bit of over-leveraged longs that will be in that position because unnecessary exuberance will start to come back in the market. So we want a healthy uptick. Now, will we get a retracement right now before the Super Bowl when we have so much positive news coming in? I'm not sure, but when if you go on my screen, one of the things that I was looking at here on chain was the whales and institutional flows. Interestingly, it's not that interesting that the whales are have been buying at these lower levels. But what I find interesting is the fact that right here, meanwhile, data resource eCoin metrics shows coin metrics data in the form of clusters showing that basically there's the same accumulation happening with Bitcoin whales and fishes. Fishes are the very small retail people. People like I guess I still am technically because I'm not in the millions yet. But my point being here is the retail and the institutional whale wallets are accumulating at this level, which is something we didn't see when we were down in this region here, where whales were starting to buy, but the retail just didn't have that smart courage to buy at those low levels. But we are starting to see that. I'm just waiting for that last little flush out to the downside so we can get a little bit of a bullish RSI divergence set up so we can actually rock it from there. Is that downside going to be 36? Is it going to be 29? Is it going to scare us and go all the way down to 24? We don't know, but I would predict that I think it's probably going to hold above the 33 level.
Boom. I think you're absolutely right. But Smay, I want to hear your take on all of this because you wanted to give a take earlier and you didn't get to. So what are you thinking about the current market climate and where do you think we're going to go? And also, who do you think is going to win the Huddle Trophy? Because right now, we're $300 below the level that we need for it to be mine. So can you pump the market for me?
Yeah, it's going to be me.
It's going to be you.
Yeah.
What's your prediction again?
I couldn't even tell you.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's right.
Hey, man. Hey. But, okay, honestly, guys, I said this before. I really think the Super Bowl is going to be a very powerful catalyst in terms of getting people to buy. I think genuinely, there's a lot of people that are going to see because just the sheer amount of them. You're talking about Coinbase. You're talking about it's not just crypto.com anymore. We're talking Coinbase. What are some of the other companies? FTX. Several different exchanges, several different companies that obviously they're not just going to say, hey guys, buy Bitcoin on our exchange. They're going to make some kind of ad that encourages Bitcoin in general and crypto in general because that's the best way to get people to come use their platforms. So guys, ultimately, there's going to be some big price movement here. And I'm just saying, I think we're going to see it tomorrow for the Super Bowl. I'm very confident about that. But other than that, I think there's a lot of reason to be excited right now.
I think so too.
So that's pretty much it.
I think so too. No, guys, I think there's a ton of reason to be excited right now. But what we're going to go ahead and do, I want to show you a little bit of the shorter term action on Bitcoin. Look down here on the 1 hourly chart. I know a lot of you guys are day traders and you're probably trading this range and this volatility. What we're looking at right now on Bitcoin is actually very encouraging. We have higher highs forming on the hourly chart. We had a high form at 1 a.m. on the 8th of February 2022 and another high form at noon on February the 10th of 2022. Those are higher highs, but we also have relatively similar lows. So we're actually seeing almost a megaphone formation right here where Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are widening and getting more volatile. And the reason that that's so interesting is because volatility is the gate and key to major price movement. You need to see volatility because when you see volatility, that's how you know that people are wanting to work in the space. And the more people want to be in the space, then you can ascertain that the demand has gone up. So we want to see a lot of volatility. We want to see a lot of volume. Speaking of volume, let's take a look at it. The volume actually is a little bit all over the place right now, but it's looking a little bit better than it did before. We're seeing some more consistent volume. It's not theoretically that much higher than it was, but we are seeing more consistent volume than we saw back during this time right here. Another thing to point out down here on the 8-hour chart is that we are currently looking at a little bit of a bull flag. We talked about this a couple days ago, but it's still in play. This bull flag right here has a price target of $53,000, which would be great because as we've talked about, the next major level of resistance we need to get above is 52K. I made a video on that a couple days ago. That video is still 100% relevant because things have not changed in the market. So if you've not watched the video on how Bitcoin could get to 52K and what it would mean if it did, make sure you go back and watch that video on the channel. You will be thankful that you saw it, I hope. Now, Kelly, I want to throw it to you for some on-chain. We got some interesting news over there.
Well, I already covered one of them, and but you know that was just in relationship to the whales and the smaller retail starting to accumulate these levels. But what we can also bring up here is here we go. This is essentially looking at the derivatives markets and looking at its funding rates because typically in most of and I think all of the major corrections that we've had in the past, what happens is when you get over leveraged one direction or the other direction, then it makes it more expensive. For instance, if everybody's betting long or placing trades in long leverage trades, then it becomes more expensive to place those trades, and you actually have to pay. The funding rate gets it increases. I think on Biped it's every 8 hours. I'm not sure if it's all exchanges, but they adjust what the rate's going to be based on how popular or how much flow there is in that direction of the market. And when we're having negative rates, it actually means that it's actually more. I don't want to say more attractive, but it's less expensive to hold open interest on a position if it's going the opposite direction. So when the market's down and there's a lot of essentially short positions on the market, and it becomes over leveraged in that direction, it becomes less expensive to place long trades. And so in a way, you can look at the metric of the funding rates to give indication, and you can look at the correlation between those and where the price action is at. And we've been sitting in an over leveraged position where the funding rates have been negative to go long for a while, and it's setting up just like the same way it did when we had the May to July correction that ended with everybody thinking it was going to go down further, and then it just banged right back to the upside in a new all-time high. So nothing's going to be guaranteed, but we are seeing that setup. That's a story for later. But really, right now, the thing that's interesting on the on-chain metrics, the non-zero wallets are still expanding. They're growing. Whales are accumulating. The illiquid supply is still going up. Exchange balances are going down. All things are pointing to bull, other than the patience in which we hold. So we're not seeing it play out immediately, but on-chain metrics don't say it's going to happen now. It's saying this is a pressure building behind a dam, and at some point this dam is either going to spill over or it's going to break through. And so all we can do right now is place your bets. I don't want to say bets. Place your trades, place your investments safely with conviction and with risk management in mind, because we're still not in an uptrend technically, really, until we get above the 52K level, and more specifically above the 68K level, because until then we were just ranging like we have been for over a year. We've been ranging from 30 to 65,000. So just be conservative in this moment until we have a defined trend.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of defined trends, let's go ahead and take a look at the BLX, Brave New Coin Liquid Index for Bitcoin. I want to show you the last 10 years of pricing data on Bitcoin, because there's a very interesting thing going on out here. If you look on the long-term perspective for Bitcoin, there is this uptrend that has been in effect ever since a local high at the time it was an all-time high of $32 on Bitcoin. Bitcoin used to be worth less than 10% of what Ethereum is worth, less than 90% of what Ethereum is worth back in June of 2011. We can also see that this trend line, just following through its history here, has a pivot point here on June of 2011. Then we have some set points right over here later on in 2013. And we also see that we set those this level of support and resistance. Then we use this level as support back here in October of 2014, used it as resistance kind of here in January of 15. And then if we move forward here, let me reset trading view. Just had a little bit of a glitch there with my charting. We can see that, sorry about that, guys. Sometimes trading view, has that ever happened to you, Kelly, while I get this back up? Have you ever been using the paintbrush tool and then it just like glitches on you? That happens.
Oh, absolutely. That happens, and then I forget that it's on, and the tool stays on, and I'll be trying to drag a line, and I'm just putting dots on the chart.
Yeah, for real. No, I've done that so many times. But if we look forward here, we can also see that Bitcoin would use this level roughly as support, resistance, and then support. We broke through it here in May of 2017. It's doing it again. Trading view, you are not cooperating right now. What are you doing? It keeps doing it. I think my computer's lagging. Sorry about that, guys. The fact of the matter is, however, this trend line, I'll just go ahead and show you without the drawing tool then. The fact of the matter is then this trend line right here has been in effect for over 10 years. We saw that we came down and tested as support in July of 2017. We used it as support here in November of 2018. We also used it as support and resistance here in 2019. We can take a look at that right back over here. I'm actually going to come right back to this part of the chart here in a second. Used it as resistance right here in the run up to 20K. You can see just how much we've used this. Came down and tested here in July of 2021. Used it as support here in January of 2022. Broke below it. And the interesting thing is Bitcoin just got above this level, and we're actually currently using it as support. That's a pretty big deal. We want to see ourselves above this trend line. And the one thing that you might say when you look at this trend line is you might say, okay, well, every time we break below this trend line, we end up staying below this trend line for a multitude of months or even more than a year. However, there is one instance on this trend line and the way that we've interacted with it that I think is very applicable to where we are right now. And it happened in 2019. We saw in 2019, specifically October 26th of 2019, Bitcoin fell below briefly this trend line, broke back up above it, failed to maintain its movement. In fact, it was in a bull flag, just like Bitcoin is right now, that was going to push it back up closer to all-time high, but it failed. This was before anything happened with the common cold back in, or the uncommon cold back in 2020. This is long before this. That only started affecting markets right around here. So this was back before that ever came into play. But Bitcoin fell over, and it was already on an uptrend right when the news started breaking in 2020. If it were not for what happened in early 2020, this entire fall would not have happened. The traditional markets were just running along just fine. They got shaken up by that news. We would have seen Bitcoin resurge all the way up to $13,000 within the next few months. So what am I saying here? Bitcoin briefly fell below this level, briefly got above it, and then fell down and then rallied. So what we may end up seeing right now is very similar to what we saw in 2019. A brief fall below it, we rally above it, fail, come back down, set a low down there around where we were, and then rally above this trend line. That's something that could happen. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to, but what I am saying is that it's very unlikely, in my opinion, that we're going to see us stay below this trend line for a multitude of months or even multiple years as we have in the past, because the only time in history that we've ever gotten above this trend line briefly and then broken back up, gotten below this trend line briefly and then broken back up above it was right here, and we were about to see an all-time high run in just the next couple of months anyway. So the point I'm making is the fact that we stayed below this trend line for such a short amount of time. In fact, it was only a matter of a couple of weeks when in history we would have stayed below this trend line for maybe over a year, and we were only below it for 18 days. That's actually a very bullish sign and tells me that worst case scenario, Bitcoin could come back down to the mid-30s and then bounce and rally. So that's just one of those longer term trends that I wanted to bring to your attention. But guys, we're about to jump into our community discussion. We're going to read some super chats. Before we do, I do want to give a shout out to the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. Take a look at my screens today. If you guys didn't know this, we have Google reviews. There are 67 of them over by written by people that have taken the academy. 4.9 stars. I think there's 3 reviews that are not 5 stars, and I think all of them are 4 stars. So if you want to go and read 67 reviews of the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy and whether or not you should get it, you can just pause at any point, read all of these. These are real customers. Go back and check this out. It is worth your money. And by the way, we do have a 30-day money-back refund guarantee if you decide that CT2A is not for you. But I don't believe that's going to happen, because when you get 60 videos or 50 videos showing you how to do everything from using Lux Algo to showing you how to use TD sequential and stock to flow and hash ribbons, dollar cost averaging and short versus long-term technical analysis, market sentiment, intuition, all of the tools that I use to do technical analysis every single day, all of the tools that Kelly and Tim use to do technical analysis every single day, you're not going to want to use that refund policy because it is going to be so incredibly valuable to you. By the way, you guys talk all the time about how great Tim is at technical analysis. He is absolutely killing it. He got his start with CT2A, so make sure to check the link in the description box down below. Any questions you have about it, feel free to send us an email, support@cryptojebb.com, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. But let's go ahead and read some super chats and interact with the community. I love reading your super chats. Thank you so very much. Smash that like button if you haven't already.
All right, first up, we got RC Moore, or as Tim would say, Rick Moore. That was just a super chat, nothing to say. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We got the Coin Father. Great TA. I've learned from you, Jebb, and thanks for promoting Lux Algo. It is a game changer and has helped me so much. I got all my family in crypto at Thanksgiving 2020.
Woo.
Keep up the great work, guys.
Yeah, no, Lux Algo is another great tool that you guys should definitely be using. We use it every single day because it's ridiculously helpful for spotting and confirming trends. So you can check out Lux Algo. We have a 20% off coupon code Jebb, Jebb at checkout down below for that too.
Next one of my favorite names in chat. He's been super chatting a few times the last few days. Slice Daddy. I love the name. And he just said Napoleon Dynamite or Hot Rod.
Hot Rod, all the way, all the way. Hot Rod is an amazing movie. That movie is hilarious.
Eat your food, Tina.
Eat your food, Tina.
Yeah, that was just such a bizarre movie.
Which one do you prefer? I actually don't know if I've ever seen Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, it's
I've
just
watched Hot Rod
it's
3
just
times,
bizarre. And you know, one that I actually want to watch because Tim and Smay quote it all the time. And just based on their quotes, it's either going to be the worst movie ever or the funniest movie alive, and it's Licorice Pizza.
I knew you were going to say Licorice Pizza.
It's not even a comedy movie though. That's what's sad about it. It's not a comedy movie.
So I'm gonna have to dive into that.
Drop a 1 in chat if you've seen Hot Rod. That movie is so funny. That is a hilarious movie.
Then we got another one from Michael McSaucy. That's a good one. Is that a handshake or a heart? I can't tell. Me and Smay. Oh, it's hands. Me and Smay holding hands. That's what it says.
Aww.
Well, that's
Do you want to
quite
hold
sweet.
hands, May, with him? Or her? I don't know. It could be a her.
It's a him, unless it's a Michaela without the A.
Michaela.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Michaela.
Oof. Sorry.
And then again from RC Moore said, more info on Looks Rare and more info on ADAX, please. Well, Looks Rare is a community-driven NFT platform. Exchange, you can buy and sell, and they actually incentivize you based on your different actions on there. I haven't used it, but I know that it's growing in popularity. ADAX is just trugging along. They're working on getting their big update out to a bunch of different user suggested changes and upgrades to the UI and the user experience, and also just all of it. So I'm really looking forward to that. And yeah, so just keep plugging away on that one. Keep your head down.
Boom, there you go. Somebody said in chat, let me see, Jebbi Master Stumpy. Hi, my name's Rod, and I like to party. That's a great reference.
Can I confess something?
Go ahead, Smay.
Do it.
I watched Hot Rod. I don't think it's that funny.
Come on.
And I actually genuinely don't like watching comedies.
Really?
Yeah.
You're out
Really?
of your mind.
Yeah.
You're out of your mind, dude. What
So
the
I guess that makes me that's something now you guys know about me.
Watch Tropic Thunder and not laugh. I dare you.
Tropic Thunder's all right.
Never seen that.
All right, I think
We got all?
we've wrapped up all the super chats.
Hey.
And by the way, we really appreciate. I just want to take a moment of appreciation for everybody that tunes in, whether this is your first time or you're here on a daily basis. We really appreciate you. We really do. Thank you for just sharing this journey with us and letting us share our thoughts and experience with you. And we actually learn from you all as well. You bring up projects sometimes, or even points of view sometimes in the chat, whether it's a regular chat or a super chat. Me and Smay were talking about this yesterday at lunch. We were walking in, and it's like, I wonder if the folks in chat realize, especially the people that are regulars, we're basically reading through the chat and trying to stay in tune while the show is going live. Also, that's how we also pull the super chats out. So we see we're pretty, like, there's a lot of regulars. We know the name. We actually have conversations about certain people names. So
Good things.
You are
promise.
seen.
Except for that guy.
We do see you. We do recognize you. We appreciate you. So if this is your first time on the channel, definitely please subscribe. We'd love to share more with you, and tick that little bell and hit the like button. It really helps keep us around so we could.
Yeah, we talk about you guys all the time.
Yeah.
Also, I have one last thing to say.
Go ahead.
Can you guys tell Tim to stop sending me mean text while he's on vacation?
What's he doing?
He's like sending me stuff about me touching the mic and like like he's just how much I say guys. You know what?
That's true.
I just think he should go snowboard, focus on snowboarding, and not send me mean text anymore. So tell him to tweet at him and
He
say
should
stop
not fall in Terra's rotator cuff
Tweet
again.
at him at Tim's TA. Tell him to stop sending Smay mean text messages.
There you go. That's your assignment. Crypto Alchemist also donated $5. Said, any knowledge as to why the moonshot on Elrond? Side note, get CT2A, do it now, says Crypto Alchemist. I don't know why Elrond has moonshot and is up 20%. Kelly, do you have any information on that?
Honestly, I have no idea. This goes back to what I was mentioning earlier on. We have so many things going. That's part of the reason why I'm down in Florida right now. We have a lot of stuff we're working on. So I've been a little sidetracked on my altcoin Google-ness lately. I haven't been able to fully stay in tune. But if somebody does know, let us know. I'm actually going to look into it after the stream as well, because I'm curious, because I am an EGLD holder.
Boom sauce. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and jump straight on into some Ethereum, and we are going to do some TA on it, because I know you guys are big holders of Ethereum. I love Ethereum. Big fan of the project. Always have been. I've held Ethereum for over 4 years. I do, however, believe that it has some stiff competition, and if it doesn't manage to see some relatively rapid development coming out with ETH 2.0 and everything that it needs to do to increase its transactional throughput, then it is going to be very difficult for Ethereum to maintain its hegemony. I'm not saying that it's going to get flipped by a Cardano or an Avalanche or a Solana or anything, but I am saying that it could start bleeding more market capitalization away from itself into those projects if those projects continue to dominate the way that they are right now. They're nipping on the heels of ETH. Now, as far as ETH's price action is concerned, however, we can see that Ethereum is currently sitting between a zone of $3,060 and $3,400. I keep wanting to say 30 instead of 3 because I'm used to talking about Bitcoin and then it changes over. Can Ethereum just go to $30,000 already so that I don't have to trip up? Wouldn't that be nice? I would love Ethereum to go to $30,000. We would, you know what we would do if Ethereum went to $30,000? It's going to. It's going to
A
take
happy
time.
dance for sure.
A happy dance, yeah. No, it'd be a great time. If Ethereum goes to $30,000 in the next year, I will do a happy dance. It's going to be great. No, but Ethereum right now is currently sitting between these two zones. We have a zone of support in between $2,925 and $3,060. Then we also have a zone of resistance between $3,400 and $3,600. Those zones are outlined in yesterday's live stream, but we basically get those from this price action back over here and then back over here. We very much want to see Ethereum go through and do some certain confirmations that we've talked about on Bitcoin as well. Very similar story over here to Ethereum, so I'm going to run through it relatively quickly. We want to see a bullish Lux Algo buy flash come into play and be in effect for 7 to 10 days. It's been in effect for 7 days. I want to see Ethereum be above $3,400 for 7 to 10 days, to be honest with you. It's not even up there yet, so that one has not taken place just yet. And then I also want to see out on the 3-daily chart, just like I said on Bitcoin, 7 to 10 days of bullish MACD, and then 7 to 10 days of RSI being above its 14 interval moving average. And frankly, I would also like to see a confirmed Lux Algo buy signal out here on the 3-daily chart. That has not occurred yet, and it's going to take some time before it does. We're going to need to see Ethereum go up to at least $3,500 before Lux Algo would flash a buy signal. But just looking at it historically, whenever Lux Algo does flash a buy signal on the 3-daily chart for Ethereum, you can tell that it means a lot. Every time we saw a buy signal in the last 2 years, more than 2 years, it has led to a major rally. In fact, going back all the way throughout Ethereum's history, to be honest with you, we saw a buy signal back over here in December of 2018. Phenomenal program. You can see 300% right there. We can see 130% right there. We can see 238% right there. We can see this buy signal over here gave us 1,000% rally. Right here, we saw Ethereum rallied 78%. Right here, we saw Ethereum rallied 40%. So Lux Algo giving us a buy signal on the 3-daily chart has a literal perfect track record of multiple double-digit bullishness. And that goes back over 3 years. So if we do see that occur out here on the 3-daily chart, that's going to be a very, very big deal. And I do think we're going to see that. We're going to be keeping an eye on that for you as well. There's another thing I want to show you on the 3-daily chart, and that has to do with, there's another thing I want to show you on the weekly chart. That has to do with our uptrending level of support. I'm pulling a SME. I hit my mic. I'm sorry. I finally did it. I hit my mic just like SME. We have an uptrending level of support here on the weekly chart. We have downtrending support here on the weekly chart MACD and the weekly chart RSI. That gives us bullish MACD and bullish RSI divergence on weekly. That is a phenomenally bullish long-term signal. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum right now. I want to just wait a little bit, a few more days, get some more confirmation. I'm waiting for some more signals to come into play. But Ethereum looks like it's in a pretty solid position right now. I would say it's about a week behind where Bitcoin is. So wherever Bitcoin is, I would say that Ethereum is just a little bit behind that, and then after we see Bitcoin start to breach things like 44, 45, 46, then we will see Ethereum do the same. By the way, guys, if you were enjoying today's stream, smash that like button, and here's the reason why you should smash that like button, because we are actually about to do some TA on EGLD. You guys are asking about it, and we want to answer. Let's go ahead and take a look at EGLD. Elrond, we're going to start over here with his price action on CoinMarketCap, currently sitting at $207, up 12%, worth $4.3 billion, ranked number 38. This is a very interesting project. Kelly, can you explain EGLD just a little bit as I get ready to do some TA on it?
Yeah, of course. See what I did there?
Oh,
yes. I didn't AppSo anything. I just coursed it.
EGLD
is another layer 1 solution. However, they've approached it. It's almost, in a way, I kind of think of it like a bit of a cross-section, a synthesis between the scarcity of Bitcoin, because they have 21 million coins, but with the sort of upgraded sort of layer 1 solution as compared to Ethereum. And one of the things that they really wanted to attack was being able to, I don't want to say become a national currency, because that's not necessarily their goal, but having it's way more currency related than Ethereum is, which is more of like the world computer sort of motif, right? They want to be transactability with also having smart contracts incorporated with them. And they've got an incredibly strong community, similar, not in terms of the full size, but it definitely is, it's up there with like Cardano in terms of how strong and in a way tribal their community is. And they've been doing a lot of improvements over the last couple of years. And it's really solid project.
Boom sauce. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this price action. If we look at EGLD, it had a massive run up in just the last 24 hours. Taking a look at the hourly chart here, we can see that there was a massive scam wick all the way up to $270. Guys, I am not quite familiar with what happened here, but this looks like manipulation to me. We saw at 8 a.m. that it moved very, very quickly. In fact, if we go down to the minute chart, I have a feeling this all happened in 2 minutes. Yeah, so Kelly, can you look that up? Because it rallied literally 46% in 1 minute.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that that was some manipulation going on. But the interesting thing to take away from that, looking at the 5-minute chart, when EGLD did that, it rallied all the way up here to $270, but it pulled right back down to about 200 before it was sitting at 180. So this is actually very interesting because this goes to show you that Elrond right now was trading at 180, but it's also confident trading up here at 200. So it actually, even though this was almost certainly some kind of manipulation event, it basically showed Elrond's community that actually it was confident trading a 10% higher than where it was. So that's a good sign. Now, if we look at the daily chart, there's some very interesting technicals at play. Number one, we have been trending to the upside ever since the total market reversal on January 22nd. That's great. Through doing so, Elrond has rallied to where it is right now to 84% to the upside in 20 days. A lot of bullishness there. That's a really bullish movement coming in from the bounce. We saw that it pulled all the way down to about $100, $112. Ever since then, we have seen a buy signal come in on Lux Algo. Again, let's do our historical analysis on Lux Algo for this market because it could be different than Ethereum. And if we look at Bitcoin, if we look at here, we can see a strong buy signal on Lux Algo led to a 120% rally. Here we saw a strong buy signal led to a 112% rally again. Here we saw a strong buy signal led to 125% rally. We also see right here a strong buy signal led to a 47% rally. So Lux Algo buy signals on the daily chart for EGLD are very powerful. And that's what we've seen happen right here is we've seen another buy signal. And even since that buy signal came into place, we've seen 30% in 5 days. So that's great. Definitely looking forward to seeing how Lux Algo will play out on EGLD. But if we look at some of its other technical indicators, we can see that it is quite bullish on MACD. It is quite bullish on RSI. In fact, it's already up at 65 on the RSI. Remember, the thing about RSI, guys, is that RSI is not actually an overbought and oversold indicator like most people read it as. You can read it that way, but that's actually a secondary use case of RSI. RSI is the relative strength index. It's actually defined as, well, it's actually intended to show you the relative strength of the bulls versus the bears. So depending on where the RSI is, it's showing you who is more in charge. If it's sitting at 90, then it's saying that the bulls are ridiculously strong compared to the bears that are not that strong. If it's sitting at 50, it's saying it's split right down the middle. If it's at 20, then it's saying the bears are much more powerful than the bulls. So right now, with RSI sitting up here at 68, 65, it is showing us that the bulls on EGLD are very powerful. Taking a look at some of its levels of support and resistance here, just so we can get kind of an idea of where it's going to go, we can draw some horizontal levels of support and resistance right here at $230. I'm getting that from all of these local lows back over here. I also want to take a look at VPVR here to try and come up with some levels. Boom, we got them right there at the exact same area, so $240. So what I can do is I can just go ahead and show you this zone right here between $230 and $240 is going to be very important for EGLD. If you see EGLD get above this, I would say that's going to be a confirmation that is going on a run, and you could see an Elrond go back to $500 per coin. That is something that you would be able to make quite a bit of money off of. So pay close attention to this zone of resistance in between 230 and 240. That is a level that I think you will find a lot of success.
I'm looking up, trying to find any sort of announcements or anything regarding EGLD. And it doesn't look like anything. Scott Melker, the Wolf of Wall Street, he actually posted a tweet about it. And I think it's pretty right on. He said, either there's some serious demand coming in for EGLD or a whale fat-fingered the hell out of an order.
Yeah.
Either way, this is one of, you just...
Well, it's like, Kelly, right around the time you got into the space, because I don't remember exactly when you got in. You got in a couple months before I did. You got in 2017, right? Or 2016?
I got in towards the end of 2016 and really started
Yeah, well, you'll probably remember this then. Do you remember, it was on, I think it was on Bitfinex. We can look it up on the chart. Somebody did like a $300 million sell on exchange for Ethereum. Ethereum was trading like $300 and dropped down to $20. Do you remember that? That was like a little story.
I do remember that, and I don't remember. I don't remember if what
the scam wick is still there.
What the
actually.
particulars were, but
it's over here on Coinbase. Let me show you right here, guys. On my chart, I remember hearing about this. This happened before my time. This happened a month before I got into cryptocurrency. But you can see right here, there was a scam wick from $3.25 all the way down to $13, negative 96%. If you go back on the hourly chart, it happened in like 2 minutes. So Ethereum dropped 95%. In like 2 minutes on Coinbase. And I think what we may have seen happen.
Just for anybody that just might have tuned in, this is many years ago.
Yes, this was in 2017. This was 5 years ago now. Almost 5 years ago. Sorry, yeah. Ethereum's down at $30. Go buy. You know how much Ethereum I would buy if it went to $30? I would buy so many Ethereum.
I'd sell my legs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
I only got one good leg, so. I have 2 legs, but only one good leg.
Oh, man. But anything's better than nothing. But, guys, the point that I'm making here is that somebody probably ran up the order books on EGLD, and then they bought so much of it on exchange when they were really buying so much that they should have been buying it institutionally over the counter. But to be honest with you, I don't know if there's an institutional over the counter market for EGLD, so maybe they didn't have the opportunity to. Anyway, guys, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at Mana. We're going to look at Mana, and we're going to not look at Sand because Mana and Sand look virtually identical right now. Both of them are Metaverse projects. Kelly, can you give the audience just a little bit of an intro to what both of these projects are?
Yeah, Mana is Decentraland and Sand is Sandbox. They both are blockchain infrastructures for Metaverse platforms. So these are the stories, and the reason why we wanted to go over these today is because when we were talking about Gucci getting the Metaverse, McDonald's getting the Metaverse, PUBG, I'm not sure if they're going to be getting into the Metaverse in terms of being involved with Decentraland or Sandbox, but I think they're more on the NFT side. But Decentraland and Sandbox are two of the, for some reason, I don't want to say for some reason, but at this point, at this stage, leaders in the Metaverse sort of economy or niche. Gala is also another project, but Gala also, they're all looking almost identical. Gala's moving a little bit ahead of Mana and Sand, but not so much that the chart is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we really only need to do TA on one of them. You'll kind of get the targets for all, just draw the patterns the same.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at Mana here. If we look over here on its daily chart, we can see that it had a massive rally back on October the 29th. That was the day that Facebook announced their name change to Meta. A lot of people thought that that was going to mean that they were adopting Mana or something as Decentraland. That's not the case. But a lot of people heard that and they said, oh, I want to invest in the Metaverse. And they went and looked in cryptocurrency. They said, oh, look, Decentraland, Metaverse, I'll go buy that. And they didn't realize that it had nothing to do with what Facebook was doing. Nevertheless, anybody who was holding Decentraland made 500% in the span of about 48 hours, so congratulations to you. The interesting thing is, it's managed to maintain a lot of those levels. It's actually sitting above where it ended that rally at $3 flat. It's currently sitting at $3.20, so that's great. Good for you guys who are in Decentraland. It's actually up 90% over the last 20 days. If we look at some of its other technical indicators here, we can see that it has actually rallied quite a bit, but it's kind of falling over. At the moment, if we look down here on the 8-hour chart, we're going to see that it is almost in a little bit of a bull flag. We can just go ahead and draw a trend line right here. This bull flag right here is looking like it would have a price target sitting all the way up at $4.30, which would be getting us closer to an all-time high. In fact, it would push us right up here to this level at $4, which was a previous level of resistance that we set back on Christmas Day. So I do hope that that happens, but here's the only issue with Mana, and I want to throw it to Smay. Decentraland is a project that is a promise right now. Yes, it's live. Yes, Decentraland has actually been around for a couple I want to say a couple of years, but I don't know how much actual usage it's having. Smay, I know you have a story to tell about Decentraland, so can you tell us a little bit about your experience with this project?
It's been around for a while, because dang it, I touched the mic.
It's been around since 2017.
It's been around a while. All I saw when I witnessed what was around was just Roblox, but blockchain, all right?
Blockchain.
Now, here's what I'll say about that. I'm going to walk back. I said that with a little bit of contempt, right? I'm sorry. And here's why. Exactly what Jebb said. It's not that they're necessarily bad projects or good projects. It's just that they're not proven yet, right? And so you're talking about something that is probably one of the most speculative things of what they're promising. You're really so early to the Metaverse game that you really can't even it's hard to pick a winning horse in this race. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm not really too eager to jump in and invest in Mana or Sand, because they're just so early, so underdeveloped. It's not proven. Developing on blockchain, especially in a virtual reality gaming sense, who I've heard from people who have developed on Decentraland, actually. Like, I met one of T-Shroom's friends came into the office. He actually developed a game on Mana, right? Like, he had actually, or not a game, like he had a game within his plot of land and Mana, right?
Is this a little asteroid shooter?
Yeah, it's a little asteroid shooter.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But like, it's so crude, so primitive, and it's like super difficult to actually, like you were saying, compared to regular development, it's just extremely difficult to develop on blockchain. It's so early. So at this point, guys, it's hard to see, you know, whether or not it's actually a proven investment or anything yet. You're really just coming in and hoping that what they're promising is true. So that's why I'm like, I would be very careful with these metaverse projects, just because it's like there's nothing proven, there's no track record that you can follow that can make you actually very confident in that investment. So
I think you just have to be careful because we're very, very young in the whole metaverse blockchain gaming ecosystem. And the question is the technology. You know, whenever technology, so for example, Kelly, you might know this story, so you might be able to help me figure out which company this was. I think it was Xerox. I want to say it was Xerox that actually developed the original computer mouse, like, you know, one of these things.
I believe so.
I want to say it was Xerox, and then they invited a young man over, and he saw this thing, and he's like, "Whoa, this is incredible! It's got this functionality." He took all these notes, and then he went back to his friend Steve Wozniak and said, "Hey, we should make a company and use this thing because they're not doing anything with it." And they founded Apple that's worth $3 trillion because Xerox didn't make the move that they should have. They had the tech in their hands, but they didn't have the ability to make it mass marketable and make it appealing to the rest of the industry and to the rest of the world. So they got left behind. I believe that was Xerox. Kelly, do you know about that story? Are you familiar with that story?
I am familiar. I'm not sure. Is it? Yeah, I do.
It might be Hewlett Packard, but I think it was Xerox.
Well, I mean, I think it's like you can. I don't know, but I will say this though. I will say this. I think this is also the thing that you need to decide for yourself. This is something you need to decide for yourself before you go and invest in these metaverse projects in general. Is, are you agreeing or not even agree? Do you understand, or do you even believe in the future that it's pitching you, right? Because if you believe that we're all as humans going to eventually fall into the Ready Player One universe where we're all just sucked into this metaverse, you know, if you believe that that's actually the future, right, then maybe start looking for these projects, right? But like in the meantime, it's like it's still like up to choice, right? Like people are acting like this is just a truth of what the future is going to look like, and it's like, no, we have something. We have these books like Ready Player One. We have these. We've been able to choreograph what that looks like in the dystopian nature of it. You know, Black Mirror type stuff that say, you know, do we actually think we're going to allow that to be our future? I don't know. Probably not, right? Yeah. So make sure that when you're looking into this, you know, first you're looking at whether or not you even want to support those projects. If that's the future that you want, you can make that decision for yourself.
Yeah, so the point I'm making is that the mouse was not brought to commercial viability by the company that created it. It was brought to commercial viability by a company that understood how to provide value to the customer in a way the customer wanted. And by the way, that way the customer wanted is very important, because sometimes what you get is you get a bunch of engineers in a room and they make this awesome product that they're like, hey, look at this. It does all of this. It's got this many TPS. It's got this many functionalities. It's got this really cool coding language that does this and it does that. And you can plug in a GUI to that, and you can plug it into, you know, all Apple Pay and all this stuff. They get in a room and they say, hey, look at this awesome technology. And then they bring it to market and says, I don't care. That's what happened with PayPal. PayPal had all of these different online internet financial services. Elon Musk and his compatriots at PayPal went, back when it was X.com, went and pitched this to a bunch of people and said, PayPal, they went and pitched this to a bunch of people and they said, oh, well, that's kind of cool. Yeah, all right, but what about that email payment stuff? Like, yeah, okay, you got all this stuff that you spent 100,000 man-hours building, but we don't care about that because that's not interesting to us. What about this email payment stuff? So the point I'm making is that the company and the people that create the technology, frankly, are normally not the ones that bring it to commercial viability and make all the money off of it. It's the people that take that technology that, yes, needed to be developed and found a way to make it entertaining and appealing and digestible to the public that end up going and making the money with it. As you guys said in chat, Xerox, they also worked on the original graphical user interface, and it wasn't Xerox that made the money off of that. Now, Xerox is still a very successful company, but they missed out on that opportunity because they had the technology, but they didn't know how to make it commercially viable, and that's kind of what Smay is saying. Yes, metaverse projects are going to be $1 trillion industry. I have no doubt about that. I do have my doubts about whether or not it's going to be Sandbox or Mana that do it, because I don't know if they have figured out how to make the technology commercially viable and commercially acceptable to the people in cryptocurrency.
Well, and the last thing I'll say that, and this is an important distinction for anybody, because we've said this before last time we discussed it, guys, because the pump that happened, if you go back to October 28th when Meta announced that their name changed, Facebook changed to Meta and announced their whole idea of what they're wanting to do with virtual reality in the metaverse. These other metaverse projects pumped because everyone just kind of assumed they were under the same, metaverse. It was all the same thing. They are not really connected. These are all separate blockchains.
Yes, they are.
And Meta's not even Facebook, I don't even think is a blockchain.
Well, and also the other thing about Meta is that they changed their name to Meta, and then what did we just see happen? They lost $250 billion in valuation in a day, the single largest drop in a stock's market capitalization in the history of mankind happened within 4 months of them doing that. That is a really bad sign for the industry. Now, I'm not saying Meta is going to be unsuccessful with Metaverse. I'm not saying that Facebook's new name, I'm not saying that company is not going to be successful. What I am saying is that it's going to be a very big uphill battle. It's not going to be as simple as blockchain gaming, because everybody already understands the concept of blockchain gaming. Excuse me, everybody already understands the concept of gaming. Now we're just doing it with slightly different technology. Nobody really understands this concept of Metaverse. Now, they should, because we actually already live in a Metaverse. All of our information is online. We have social media. It's already a Metaverse, just not built on blockchain. But explaining to the public what that is and why that's important is going to be very hard. Sorry to cut you off, Smake.
No, but that's exactly it. And I think there's still, in the way that these are separate projects, so that's where you have to have a lot of discernment and not just kind of go off the hype of saying, Meta and trying to connect these dots when that don't exist. That's the first one. Two, you have to also, I think, like I just said a little bit ago, like it is one of those things that you have to also, are people willing and ready to receive this? Just because the technology is existing and people are saying that, this is whatever the future, you have to look, is there going to be a lot of resistance? I mean, heck, there's still resistance in adopting a digital currency like Bitcoin. So you think there's not going to be this huge amount of resistance to people, because like you have Meta talking about these meetings, your meetings are going to be in VR now in the future, or whatever. It's like, well, what's the point of that when it's like, oh, I got to now charge my headset and all that. Like, there's a lot of resistance now that's going to happen. And maybe it will eventually, the younger generations adopt it and make it mainstream or whatever. But you always have to make sure that you know what you're investing in and you know all the details of those arguments and the counter arguments, and not just adopt what these companies and these projects are feeding you. And
I also want to say to that, and then I want to get Kelly's take on this, there's nothing wrong with resistance. An entrepreneur once told me that every movement in society, companies included, blockchain technology included, do it in one of two ways. Either one, they go with the trend, or one, they go against the trend. And the analogy that was used to explain this to me is JFK went with the trend. MLK, Martin Luther King, went against the trend, but both of them were revolutionary thought leaders of their time, and they both made massive impacts on the world. Now, they both went forward and did a big thing, but one of them went with a trend, John F. Kennedy. One went against the trend, MLK, but both of them made a big impact. The entire cryptocurrency industry is going against the trend. It's going against the traditional financial systems. It's going against everything that is stealing your FinSov, your financial sovereignty. So it actually makes a lot of sense that Metaverse would be going against the trend. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that it goes against the trend. I am just saying that, as May said, it is going to be difficult, but actually some of the most powerful companies that have ever come into existence had to go against a trend. They weren't following a trend. They were building the trend by going against the trend. You think about a Facebook that came in and they said, okay, MySpace kind of sucks. Let's see if we can't get this thing to actually do something useful. You had Instagram come in and do the same thing with on mobile apps with video sharing and everything. You had YouTube come in and say, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead, and they didn't even realize this when they launched, but we're going to go ahead and we're just going to give the entire television industry a run for their money. They went against resistance. You talk about Apple putting a computer in every single home. Microsoft, that was their mission statement for a long time. Get every single American online. Or excuse me, that was AOL. You see these companies get everybody online. Go against resistance. That's how they built the trends. So whenever you're revolutionizing an industry, there's always going to be resistance. That's not a bad thing, but the question is, are you going against resistance that is just in people's heads, or are you going against genuine resistance where people genuinely just do not care? Because the kind of resistance you go against is just as important, because if you're fighting against resistance that quite frankly deserves to be there, then you might have a hard time. With that said, Kelly, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. And it takes a lot of steps to change habits, and especially cultural habits, not just as a person, but just as a society. And, one of the, there are, I don't want to say there's benefits, but there are caveats to the flu of 2020 that we're still almost navigating out of now. It looks like, but. There's a lot of people that were homebound. There's a lot of people that were, and so there was I know Zoom stock went through the roof because everybody was on Zoom meetings with families, and that also gave an indication of the I don't want to say necessity, but the efficacy of and the need for that could be utilized within the metaverse. So with that being said, I do think Mana and Sandbox and Gala and Axie Infinity, yeah, some of those games and some of the metaverse spaces that you walk through might look basic for now, but it's one step of many, and we're not going to know which one is going to take the reins on that. But all you can do is do your diligence and invest wisely and be patient. Even we're gonna jump into 2 or 3 super chats right now, right before we do the Huddle trophy, because I feel like one of the questions here, somebody asked to do TA on looks rare. Well, I pulled it up, and it's right in the same sort of vein of looking at these like Mana and Sandbox. Those are way more established in the sense that they've been around for years. Looks Rare is very new. The coin is so small. It's not even, the chart is so limited that it's not even really worth doing a TA on, because that's just a project. If you're interested in it, invest in it and let it develop over time. Be patient with it. But with that being said, it's 10:44. We got a little countdown going here.
We are $125 away from it being in my camp. This is coming down to the wire again, and I'm about to get stolen from me. I know I am. I can already tell. I accept it. It's going to get stolen from me again, but I'm going to count it down because we need to see if you guys are in hashtag Team Jebb. We got 7 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Look at this. I have been cheated again. It was only $100 away. This is stupid.
I'd like to thank my mother and my father and Jesus Christ and my friends, Crypto Jebb and Tim and Smay and Shannon and all the people in the background here. We love all you guys and all you gals, and we really appreciate everybody. This is just fun. We like to because the last week, and we said this before, last week. Right now, I won this in this moment, but last week, every single person that put in an entry on our team, Smay, Tim, Jebb, myself, every single person at one point in the day would have won the Huddle trophy had it happened at that moment. So let's see what the market does. We're going into the weekend. We have the Super Bowl coming up with all these ads, all this exposure that's coming out. All we can do is just ride this wave. Be patient, be diligent, and you can come visit my house, or Tim's house later. I'll have this up on the mantle. You can. Yeah.
It's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged, dang it. It's rigged. I was so close to winning 2 weeks in a row. This is stupid. I'm joking. I don't care. Well, congratulations for you, Kelly, my friend. What was your prediction again? 37 something? Or 47 something?
43,925. No, that was the thing.
That was the break.
42,850.
42,850. Dang it. Yeah. Dang it. Okay. Well,
but to be fair, let's you know what? I'm gonna give this Huddle trophy back, and I'm gonna position it and submit it to a share with you.
What? No.
Because
no.
I mean, $100 difference.
No, dude.
No. That's not how that works.
Hey,
That's yours. That's
hey,
yours. Nope.
What in the world?
Not how that works. I appreciate the thought, but nope.
It's too close.
No participation trophies
No
here,
participation trophies. Don't emasculate me like that in front of 2,000 people. Come on, man. You won fair and square. It's all good. Guys, if you enjoyed today's stream, smash those likes. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Make sure to follow us on our social medias at Crypto Jebb over on Twitter and Instagram, and also at Crypto Jebb Official over on TikTok. You can also find us on Facebook, by the way, where we sometimes post this stream as a podcast. You might not have known that. Go look us up, Crypto Jebb on Facebook. I do believe we have the link to that in the description box.
Is it still on Spotify as well?
I believe we are on Spotify. Smay, are you aware of
yes.
that?
Spotify.
Yeah, so go like our Facebook page, join our Discord, listen to us on Spotify. All those links are in the description box down below. I haven't mentioned those in a little while. But also, guys...
I do. We did have 1 or 2 super chats we didn't call out. Matt C. He's just our homie in arms. He's always with us, and we really appreciate his membership. And he said, I just want to end the week by thanking all of you for the hard work you guys put in every day to bring us important information that can help improve our lives. We all truly appreciate it. Well, we truly appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.
And being seen, and thank you for that. And the other two were just one was a super chat to look at Phantom. Maybe we can pull that up on Monday.
Yeah, we can pull that up on
and then
Monday.
the other one was for Looks Rare, which I
we talked about.
But
we have
long-term investment.
I actually interviewed the founder of Phantom, Michael Kong, at the North American Bitcoin Conference. You can go back on the channel and watch that if you'd be interested. Really great guy, very, very humble. Really, really cool. I really like the Phantom project. I like the leader. And we got some really great interviews coming up over the next couple of weeks, so make sure you stay tuned. I'm shooting one of them today. I shot a really big interview on Tuesday, and you're not going to want to miss them. We got some really big content coming up, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. As always, we got amazing things coming. Cannot wait. Make sure you sign up for CT2A if you haven't already. If you want to learn how to do technical analysis so that you can actually make the most of these cryptocurrency movements, you got to know how to read the price action. It's just that simple. And we have the #1 academy in the entire cryptocurrency space, as voted by the people that have taken it, that'll teach you how to do TA. So if you want to learn how to do technical analysis, it's the one-stop shop to do all of that. Any final thoughts before we close out, gentlemen?
Yeah, just TA Tim. Just take it gently on the bunny slopes as you go today. We know how, your body can be quite fragile, and honestly, I hope you have a wonderful time there with you and your wife Taylor. We love and miss you guys, and we look forward to having you back so I can show this beautiful trophy that I've got that's sitting on your desk right now.
There you go, guys. Well, Tim, don't fall on the bunny slopes. I know it can be kind of hard. Those are pretty difficult, but you can do that. No, for real though. Whenever Tim goes snowboarding, he's like, I'm just gonna go do a double black. It's no problem. He just starts with that because he's crazy. Anyway, guys, I look forward to going snowboarding at some point in the future, and I'll bring you a vlog from there. Before I go though, guys, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.